The numbers in our housing market are ever changing, so it's so important to stay on top of those changes. With Market Insights, we bring you the stats, facts, and figures to keep you and your clients informed. Join us now.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy December, happy holidays. Here we go with the December landmark title, Market Insights. Please enjoy. Let's talk about our local market, some things happening nationally. Our agenda, again, is just a quick update on the class action lawsuits, what's happening nationally, locally, and in the local top 25 communities towards the end. Let's continue with Fast Facts. Our next slide. Fast facts, what's happening in our marketplace, please, ladies and gentlemen. Total actives in Maricopa County, I want to put an emphasis on that, 11,838. Of that, single-family homes are 9,173, townhomes 862, condos 855, manufactured homes 712. Our inventory is going up. At the same time, ladies and gentlemen, our closed units are down to 3,707 for the month of November. Our absorption rate was at 28%, coming soon, 364. Interest rates have come down a little bit in the last 3 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. Exciting. Right now, that range is somewhere between 6.5 and 7.25, and it seems to be tracking down slightly. I have an updated slide here a little bit further about interest rates, what people are forecasting for 2024. Stay tuned. Average sale price, $575, $745 in Maricopa County for the month. Ladies and gentlemen, that is down just a couple $1,000s, but still a very vibrant market for the time that we have here in Maricopa County. Next, please. So just things that move our market, our local and national history. Ladies and gentlemen, Sandra Day O'Connor did pass away in the last week. Monumental in our country, monumental in our state. If you haven't toured it, the Sandra Day O'Connor Law Building in downtown Phoenix is most lovely and energizing, and she truly was an icon. I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. I happen to be playing an executive course of golf in the late 80s, and there was this huge hubbub still going on because that day Sandra Day O'Connor had just left the golf course after hitting a hole-in-one in her 18 holes that day. A little trivia for you. It was in the late 80s. Next slide, please. We have one less congressman in Santos. That's already news cycle. That's already a week old. But that does have an impact moving forward with our government and the influences that they have in our real estate market. Next. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a quote from Jocko Willink, and just talking about difficulty and hard times. And what he's conveying here is there's no shortcut, no hack. There's only one way, so let's get after it. And we have to conquer our weakness, procrastination, and fear, and find the will, the discipline, and to find your freedom. And that is our market of the moment. There are people out there that are very motivated. We just have to find intersections of connection and communication to find them, find you, and get to work in finding the next buy or sell opportunity. Next, please. Some from real estate news. This is Stefan Swanepoel's Real Estate News. What they're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen, is some forecasters that were working a year ago on what they had foreseen for interest rates a year, 18 months ago. They thought that right now we would be in the high fives. Obviously, that did not happen. And so I like this little quote: forecast well, but forecast often. So if you were relying on information a year ago, obviously that didn't really come true. There's a lot of other influences happening into our national, state, and global marketplaces. But then there's one more crack at this in the next slide, Sarah. They are seeing some brighter days at the end of 2024. And they're anticipating low sixes, 6.1 and 6.05. And that's what they're sensing this time next year. Next, please. Pending home sales down to a record level. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we could transact probably between 5.5 and 6 million homes a year for the next 5 to 10 years and still try to meet the movement of the market. We're going to end this calendar year at less than 4 million home transactions for the year, which is very low for probably 20 years. And what we need to identify is the people that are out there buying and selling. There's a high percent due to interest rates. There's probably just under 40% of the transactions are cash. And the other homes that are transacting from the buy side, they're watching hopefully their debt ratios and interest rates and can still afford the home. I think when we look in the next 18 to 24 months, if we really do get interest rates somewhere in the high fives, low sixes, that prices are going to surge, that there's pent-up energy in our marketplace. There's pent-up energy in our local Arizona marketplace, that we really are still a preferred destination, even with our overall higher priced homes compared to where we were the last 10 years. We're still a sought after destiny because we've got great infrastructure, airport, we still got great job growth and upward movement, and we still got a lot of land we can develop on the west side and other places. So we're going to be a sought after market in the next 10 years for sure. And so the people that are transacting right now, that if they do have a mortgage, they could refinance in 12 to 24 months and come out even better and with less competition. The short version, what I'm trying to convey, ladies and gentlemen, there are people out there very purposeful. Please find the motivated. Next, please. Just a market of the moment, ladies and gentlemen. This is the west side of Camelback Mountain, circa 1929. Next slide. And this is circa Camelback Resort, the JW area of direct north side of Camelback Mountain. I'm sorry, this would be south side, north side Camelback Mountain. And this is circa 1929. That's what our local market looked like. In another 80 years, the west side Buckeye is going to be massive in terms of growth and population coming to Arizona. Next. So a couple more data points. This is from Real Estate News, ladies and gentlemen. And what they're trying to convey here, a little bit of the NAR Next meeting that happened a couple weeks ago in Anaheim. Ladies and gentlemen, there wasn't any earth-shattering revelation that came out of that conference. What you need to know is that everything was scripted, that it seemed like everything coming from the podium was read out loud like an email. And that's because in the case coming forward, so we've lost this Missouri Sitzer case. The verdict was $1.78 billion payout, and the judges deemed that they can do up to 3 times that payout, north of $5.2 billion potentially is at risk. There is obviously an appeal. That appeal process is happening as we speak. That appeal case looks like it's going to go somewhere around late January, February of this coming year, just weeks and months away. And so that everything that was conveyed at Anaheim is deemed discoverable for that appeals case. So there was a lot of caution in messaging in California just a few weeks ago. Now, with that said, home ownership could help decide the next president. You know, ladies and gentlemen, it's not uncommon for real estate as a whole, as an industry, to have a 20% impact on any given state in our nation. We impact billions of dollars a year to our marketplace. A better way to put that, ladies and gentlemen, is every time we buy and or sell a home in our state, that brings an average of $147,000 to our state economy, with commissions, with construction, with insurance and inspectors. All the variables that come into helping buy and sell a home averages $147,000 in our marketplace. Next, Sarah. Talking here about this case, and ladies and gentlemen, there are going to be some impacts to commissions. If you haven't heard this, please know at the Arizona Regional MLS level, we have passed leadership to allow for $0 to be put into the commissions paid by the listing broker to the buyer broker. That's number one. Number two, if there's anything, let this be a broken record. If there's anything we can do as representing of buyer agents, we need to get a signed buyer broker. There needs to be classes on this. We need to be comfortable with this. This is going to become the standard of care. What this lady is talking about here, Melissa, is the changes are going to be necessary in the buyer side of our business. Next, please. Ladies and gentlemen, some good news coming. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Arizona is bringing in 5 campuses. They're bringing in billions of dollars to our local economy. This is going to be very purposeful. Next. Another thing that's happening is Harvard Investments created a new platform for build-to-rent communities where they're going to go out and purposely build single-family residence where they're just going to be rentals. And they're going to build a whole community around that. That's gone from an idea to an early adopter to this is truly an option way of living. And some of that is happening right here in Scottsdale. Next. Finally here, 1 million square feet plus for Ashley Furniture on the west side of Buckeye. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to not only build the furniture and sell the furniture, but they've plunked that down right in the west side where there's massive growth anticipated for the next 10 to 20 years. And manufacturing is going to be happening in over 1 million single square feet for these folks from Ashley Furniture. Next. Homes.com. Homes.com was one of the key sponsors at the Anaheim conference. They gave away a car. They had a private concert. They're owned by CoStar. Ladies and gentlemen, they are truly in growth mode. They're trying to do everything right. And some people were not real kind to the CEO. And so he fires back. The Homes.com CEO fires back, and the CEO of CoStar wrote a national letter as well. They're very purposeful on how they're approaching business, and they want to grow. Next, please. Ladies and gentlemen, before this Sitzer case went to trial and had a verdict and it was in favor of the plaintiffs, both Anywhere, which used to be Realogy, and RE/MAX put in a settlement in the tune of $85 million for Anywhere, and RE/MAX was a mid $40 million. And ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, what somebody like that takes a look at is they look at their balance sheet, they look at their cash reserves, and basically they offered 50% of their cash reserves upfront just to be absolved of any litigation and out of anything moving forward. Now, I included this slide here is because that had to be approved by a judge, and that did get deemed reasonable and prudent and did get approved. So right now, based on the current situation of those class action lawsuits, while Anywhere and RE/MAX took a gamble, right now it looks like their gamble is paying off. Ladies and gentlemen, as we move to the appellate court and these get appealed, this lawsuit gets appealed, the number of copycat cases continues by the week. They're happening all over the country. We're hoping that this appellant case gets back to Missouri and gets appealed, and just know that NAR is taking a similar approach to where they were before, that we did nothing wrong. Is there some things we can tune up? Yes. But does it need to cost $1.7 to $5 billion for the first case? They're hoping it doesn't. That would truly bankrupt NAR if it's up in the $5 billion mark, and that's just the first case, because there's a plethora of copycat cases now. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have turbulent times ahead in our real estate market just due to these class action lawsuits. Next, please. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, if I wasn't at an already booked a meeting, I would be attending this on the Clint Chandler talking about water. Water is so important to our state, and I know there's over $1 billion being invested on how to move water, control water throughout our state. And as we look at big growth and design, how we control water and deliverable of water is paramount. So pay attention to things like this that are happening out there. This is a forum happening between 3 and 5 tomorrow. Next. Line showings, ladies and gentlemen, from ARMLS. This program for scheduling showings has been out for about 6 weeks. Just know that come December 28th, I think is a target date, showing time will be turned off as the primary or a primary option and move to aligned showings. And so just again, become familiar with this. Is there a way that you'll be able to use showing time if you really want to? There will be, and that'll be coming as well. But aligned showings is getting more and more traction in our marketplace. Next. Also, please know Rental Beast is going to be coming to our marketplace for the ability to see rental properties in our MLS. They do a great job nationally. They've got over 5,000 doors locally here already. And we're just working, when I say we, the Arizona Regional MLS and Flex MLS and Rental Beast, there's a triad of folks working together to bring that data and have it be integrated. And they're getting closer and closer by the weeks and months. Next, please. John Burns, our economy, influences that are happening, the economy, technology, government, societal shifts. Ladies and gentlemen, these are still all at a 10 in my book. And they're having influence on our local market. And so many people are like, well, what do I do? I like this concept that Adam Grant has in his most recent book called Hidden Potential. There has long been this concept of climbing the ladder of success. I need to go to step 1, to step 2, to step 3, to step 4, till I get to the top of success. Adam Grant in his book, Hidden Potential, talks about not a ladder of success, but a lattice, a wide lattice where you might be growing flowers. And there's lots of steps going up and left and right. And that the ladder of success and with your potential is not always a straight line upward, that it could be left, could be right. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'd like to convey to you is expand your passions. If it's community service, if it's volunteering, if it's gardening, if it's running, if it's pets, if it's the elderly, whatever your passions are, in addition to being a real estate professional, follow those, and you will continue to find people in your orbit that need your services, and you will connect with them through your passions. And that's more of a lattice than a stair-step ladder straight up. Next. Again, we're highlighting the 4 modes of a client. Are they in growth mode, trouble mode, even keel, and overconfident? And ladies and gentlemen, as we go through Thanksgiving and into Christmas holiday, there is a tendency to slow down, that people don't like to move during the holidays. They like to celebrate where they are if they can. If you're fortunate to find a buyer and a seller who want to work, know that they're passionate. One of the people in our office just put a $4.9 million home in play. It's supposed to close next week. And the wife said, I want to have my Christmas tree in this house for Christmas. I'm telling you that we just need to find the motivated. There's some natural slowing down that happens. We normally see, take out the interest rate variable, we normally see a slowdown till the first full Tuesday of the week in January. Usually that's somewhere between the 7th and the 10th, somewhere whatever that Tuesday is, that this gun fires and the track meet for January kicks off. Right now, we're a little bit of even keel, yet there still are people that are very motivated. Next. So let's go through some numbers here quickly. We're starting in the far right-hand column under the month of November, that equivalently, or is essentially December 1. So if you just look across total actives in ARMLS, 15,910. Now, what I need to convey to you, ladies and gentlemen, of that 15,910, that's total active homes in the Arizona Regional MLS. That includes Pinal County. That includes all counties. So, ladies and gentlemen, a simple number is 26%. Of the 15,910, 26% are outside of Maricopa County. That's number one. Number two, 11% of that total is outside of both Maricopa County and Pinal County. That could be in Flag, the White Mountains, in Tucson. And people like to put their listings, if they can, in the Arizona Regional MLS for the exposure. So I just always lead caution with total actives in Arizona Regional MLS, because that skews some numbers down, skews some numbers up. But north of 26% today is outside of Maricopa County. That does peak around 33%. So total actives in Maricopa County, it too has climbed, but not quite as fast, 11,838. What you need to know here is this: total actives at 11,838, and slide down towards the bottom 1/3 at pending. Notice our pending has trended down north of 500 doors in the last 4 months, and at 2,941. So we are having a natural slowdown. This is seasonality, ladies and gentlemen, compounded with high interest rates. We'll look for that to rise as we get into the January timeframe. Next slide. I just love to keep this in perspective, ladies and gentlemen. When our market was as busy as it got with our 153 zip codes, we averaged right at 26 listings per zip code. Today, with 11,838, we're averaging 77 active listings per zip code. Ladies and gentlemen, for our 4 million plus population in Metro Phoenix, that's not a lot of active doors. Next. Again, perspective, if we have, say, 10 homes that are active in a marketplace, and the bottom 1, 2, 3 are priced competitively, the next 1, 2, 3 or 4, 5, 6 in this example are priced 3 to 5% higher, and the next number 7, 8, 9 is priced 5% higher, that people at this price point, especially with interest rates, they're going to be buying the homes what they deem the best value. And so it's not uncommon for some homes to be priced and they're like, hey, I'm not even getting a showing. Am I that high out of the market? Well, ladies and gentlemen, our absorption rate has moved to about 28%, not even 30%. So if there's 10 homes being competitive in a neighborhood or a zip code that are similar, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, and they're only selling 28% of 100 of those every month, it's not uncommon to find yourself in no man's land or out of the market, even though you're like, I'm right on the bubble, I gotta be. Well, the market speaks. As realtors, we do not set the market. Our job is to interpret the market, and you have to know your numbers locally to make that work. That's why we do what we do here with this conference, with this set of graphs every month. Next, please. I liked this concept that came out. The most grateful people are happier. They're satisfied with life. They're less materialistic and less likely to suffer burnout. Reduced inflammation, better sleep, less fatigue. So immerse yourself in the present. And what they're saying, ladies and gentlemen, this is a time with Thanksgiving and Christmas where we do find ourselves more and more in gratitude. And it's amazing how our world expands when we just keep that in our heart and mind on a day-to-day. Now, the grit triad comes from the Grit Project from Shannon Paulson. And what she's really saying here is commit to your story and purpose. Why am I in real estate? What's my story behind that? Stay focused on relationships, listening in your mindset, careful of your mindset, and launch into facing your fears, being authentic, and always be ready to pivot. We need to become champions at the ability to adapt. Next. Here we go with some of the key numbers, and we're going to go a little bit quicker here. So 11,822 was the number the morning of the 1st, with our under contract at 4,805. What you're looking at the bottom left, ladies and gentlemen, the red and blue is a sold to list price, and that is trending down just a little bit. But what you know is, ladies and gentlemen, it's still at 98%. If you're looking at the bottom right graph at the median and average sale price, that's down about $3 from where it was last month. Still a very vibrant market, and in the grand scheme of things, it's almost been a level market for the last 5 or 6 months. Next, please. What's changed is here is month of supply. The blue line running through the piece here is our month of supply is going up. It's getting closer to 4%, and our absorption rate is just under 30%. I think it's 28 and some change. So things are slowing down, and ladies and gentlemen, historically, this is a seasonal change. Next. As we look at both Maricopa County and Pinal County combined, our active listings in blue are down 19.7%, and our median price per square feet is up 3.4%. And ladies and gentlemen, that is combined at $257. Next slide. Now, I did make a mistake here, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. On the left and the right is the same graph. Apologize. On the left is supposed to be just Maricopa County, and so know that that is up 3.7% at 267, and on the right should be just Pinal County, and that's just over $210 a square foot. The yellow graph should be about $210 per square foot. It's about $50 per square foot less on average in Pinal County versus Maricopa County. Next slide, please. as we look in here, here is the numbers that make this up. And what I want to point out is just a couple things. In the top left, 11,822 active listings. Ladies and gentlemen, that's up 6% in the last 30 days. It's up 41% in the last 3 months, 40% in 6 months. But the total number of actives is actually down from where it was a year ago by 20%. This is in Maricopa County. Under contract is actually up at 5.7% from where it was a month ago, but solds at 3,317 are down 17% from where they were the month before. Now, as two more things on this graph I want to point out. If you look at under contract at 4,845, and you look at new listings at 5,744, and you're a listing agent, and you're like, oh, just one more month and we'll get our house sold. Ladies and gentlemen, they're adding 900 more doors per month into Maricopa County. And if the people are really tactful, the listing agents who are bringing those doors in, if they're bringing them in that are going to compete with your current listing, chances are they're going to price that home at market and get it in and under contract and sold, and you'll remain in no man's land or out of the market. So just be aware of that. Be keenly aware of that. The other thing I want to point out is in the circle graph, we still have 8.1% normal transactions. As a percent, our doors are down at 3,317, but 10% of our local market in Maricopa County is new home build. And fix and flip, while it is more costly due to cost of money, ladies and gentlemen, it's still 7% of our market, and that's still having success. So I just want to articulate that. It's a great example where statistics don't lie and lies use statistics. This is a great example of that. That is our market of the moment right there in a graph. Next, please. So a couple more things and we'll wind it down. Thank you all for listening today. When we look at active listings, on the far right of the blue line, we're at 11,822. That's the total number of active listings in Maricopa County. And that trend is up. And it's not up dramatically, but it is up. And so please be aware of that. Next. Under contract, we did go up slightly from where we were the month of October going into the month of November. And to me, ladies and gentlemen, month of November as a broker has always been a tricky month because you have Veterans Day and you have Thanksgiving. So the number of working days in November to me is one of the fewest in the 12 months of the year. And yet we were up just a few hundred doors more than we were the month of October. There is pent-up energy in our marketplace. Next, please. Closed listings came down 3,317. So knowing that closed were almost bottomed out here and bottomed out for the last 24 months, but our pendings are up, that's going to reflect in December. December shouldn't be quite as bad as other months. Next. Here we go with new listings. So this is common seasonality here. We're down about 1,000 doors, new listings for the month of November than we had normally. And when you look at November and December a year ago, the middle of the graph, you're seeing the bottom out in December at 4,619. And we were at 6,044 doors November a year ago. So we're about 650, 700 doors more than we were a year ago. Next, please. Here we go with the various cities. And so I'm going to wind down the conversation today and let this take over. We've got about 25 cities from Apache Junction to Tullifson. There's 2 slides. The first slide is the summary page, which I'd love to have people consider. This is something that I think you could print and share at a dinner table or a Starbucks coffee or something with a client. This is the market of your zip code or your city, your community. Pretty accurate. And in the blue and yellow, to me, are the most important. The active listings and the median sell price is up or down. And then the next slide, Sarah, as an example, is the market stats to back up that graph. And it's looking at the number of actives, the number of contracts sold. So in this first city, under contract was 104 and new listings 102. That's a pretty consistent number coming in and going out. However, what it's really saying is under contract is up 16% and new listings are down 10%. So you look at those two numbers, you're like, well, that's almost identical, but there's movement under the market, and that's what your buyers and sellers need to know. In this particular community, new builds are 12% and flips are only 4.88. And this will go now from A to Buckeye to Chandler to Peoria, Phoenix, Scottsdale. Sarah, you're welcome to file through these. Ladies and gentlemen, it's important that you focus on gratitude this time of year, friends, family, loved ones. Please know we enjoy sharing these numbers with you. Hopefully they make a difference in your street knowledge and knowledge that you can easily convey to your buyers and sellers. It comes from the Arizona Regional MLS, and I officially will end my 9-year reign or ability to serve. Next week will be my last meeting. It'll be 85 conferences in 9 years. Of course, I'll miss it. I've loved what it's done for our industry and how well they work in our industry, how well that we are respected in the industry. And that coincides as well with Landmark Title. They have been a stellar business partner. It's a privilege to do this for them. When you have an opportunity to think of a vendor or a title partner, please consider them. They do a great job. Sarah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah. We're going to say goodbye for now. Cheers.
Thank you for watching. Join us every month on Market Insights to be the realtor in the know.